Hey everyone, this is Jake, aka Lunar Wolf, back with another video on New World. Amazon Game Studios launched the public test realm, complete with a future build of the game. Now, there were a lot of different types of weapon changes, but the biggest ticket here that people want to know about is the Void Gauntlet. This is an incredibly interesting weapon that is arguably the most versatile weapon in the game. So let's go ahead and take a deeper look. Void Gauntlet is the next weapon coming to New World, and I'm not entirely sure when that patch will be live, but it will come with some major weapons balance changes which we can dive into in another video. There are two main paths for the Void Gauntlet, much like there are any other weapon. One mainly for close range or melee DPS, and another more for the range DPS with a higher focus on healing. This is the first and only weapon that scales both with intellect and focus, but you only need to scale focus if you plan on healing at all. This weapon is designed less to be a primary, but more of an enhancement for your main weapon, aside from one or two small builds. Some early builds I've seen or toyed with are drastically different, yet entirely viable. One such build is more based around some solo play with the Great Axe, which I'll show you in a little bit here. Another is pure healing support with a full life staff main. And for my mages out there, it can pair pretty well with Ice Gauntlet for some fun stuff, and pair pretty well with Fire Staff. So we'll go ahead and kind of jump into things here and take a deeper look at the different types of builds and how the weapon actually functions. Now, another build option is with the Great Axe and the Void Gauntlet. Again, you could probably swap out the Great Axe for anything like the Warhammer or Hatchet and have the same type of abilities for Void Gauntlet. Let me just actually move out of the spawn area for this guy. I'm still up at Shattered Mountain near the mines, just to kind of test between normal people and elites. So let's take a look at the builds that I have here. So I went for more of a pure DPS build with the Great Axe using Execute, Reap, and Gravity Well. There's a reworked perk here that looks really nice, rooting people after you pull them, and heavy attacks on here pull foes closer to you. Gravity Well pulls people, Reap pulls people. So you have a number of different ways that this can proc here to give you a quarter of a second root. It doesn't say a cooldown, so I'm assuming that it just continually roots. I'll need to do more testing for that. But I wanted to kind of just show you this here. So the full build here is all about the damage sustain here, the heavy hitting damage and whatnot, the super high crit, just stacking damage left and right, and then some minor self heals. Those self heals get much better with the Void Gauntlet and using things like Essence Rupture. Now, the great thing about Essence Rupture and the build that I have here is, so for Essence Rupture, let me read this to you again. It fires that projectile that inflicts the Essence Rupture for 10 seconds, healing anyone that hits the target for 20% of the damage done. Doesn't apply to dot damage, so don't really need to worry about bleeds or burns or anything like that. I wouldn't worry about that. You also get stamina when you're hitting the afflicted target, and it also heals the allies for 80% of the weapon damage when it ends. So you're just getting a great sustain on heal when killing a person here. Moving on from Essence Rupture, I also used Oblivion again to get that Empower and to get the increased stamina while in radius and also inflict the weakness on everybody. And then Petrifying Scream. This is going to be, if you're going to do any form of Void Gauntlet with a PvP build, you are absolutely going to want to take Petrifying Scream because it's a ranged root. 100% weapon damage, but it staggers and roots the enemy, and it disables their movement for 2 seconds. Now imagine this. You're running down the highway in an open world PvP scenario. You're flagged. The guy in front of you is flagged. You're using a Great Axe here. You don't have charge slotted, but you don't really need charge slotted because you have the 30% faster movement and the 15% more damage when you're looking at a foe within 1.3 meters. So if they're in front of you, right? You're trying to get close to them, you're trying to run up against them, you can't necessarily get your Bloodlust to proc. Oh boy, what's this? You've got Reap. Reap is an 8-meter range. You pull them back with Reap, and because of gravity, they're rooted for a second there. Immediately, you swap to Void Gauntlet, and you blast them with Petrifying Scream. You throw down Essence Rupture on them, and you throw down Oblivion. Then you pop back over to your Great Axe, and you pop Gravity Well on them, further pulling them in there. And by this point, they might have enough damage on them that you could probably just execute them. If not, throw in a couple of light attacks, maybe a heavy attack, depending on how they're rooted, and then boom, execute. It's amazing the type of synergy that this gauntlet has with both magical and melee weapons. So let's go take a look at what it looks like to mess things up with the Great Axe. There's a dude right here. Okay, so let's say this boy right here, right? Boom, he's rooted. Let's put that down. We'll queue him up with that. Throw down some Gravity Well. Pull him in there. Execute for some big damage, but you can save that. But you'll notice how well I actually am able to back away from that, right? I'm going to throw that down, and I'm going to go back to him. Boom, hitting, healing, hitting, healing, hitting, healing. So much health sustained from the Void Gauntlet there. It'll take a little bit to actually master it. Again, I don't main Great Axe on the main server. I main Fire Staff and Ice Gauntlet. Might be actually doing Fire Staff and oh wow, okay, that was a beautiful chest there. Might be doing Fire Staff and Void Gauntlet when that launches. Here's a look at the Fire Staff build and Void Gauntlet. So Fire Staff is pretty typical. I mean, a few of these things can be swapped in, swapped out based on your liking, but generally these are the skills that you'll want to use. Your main heavy hitting damage like Pillar of Fire and Fireball, and especially if you get the armor perks of Empowering Fireball, you're going to deal a lot of damage with this and extend that burning range on the ground for quite a bit more. And Burnout is kind of your escape or your gap closer if they're getting too far away. And of course, Rune of Helios, Void Gauntlet, it's actually going to be the same setup that I was using for Great Axe. There's no reason to go for any of the extra melee damage because you're purely utilizing the support skills here. Now, normally you would use Oblivion to be a close range type of thing. However, you're just going to use it for empowering. So whenever Helios runs out after your Pillar of Fire procs, and you throw Fireball down there, when you want to get the more damage from it and Rune of Helios runs out, go ahead and drop Oblivion, and you're going to blast them in the face. But if your mana gets really low, you can swap to Void Gauntlet, use your Harvest Essence to trade your Life Force for mana, pop Essence Rupture on the target, and start firing again with your Fire Staff. Let's take a look at the Fire Staff. So how you would normally start this is you would throw that down, you'd throw Fireball, you hit a few times here, but instead of that, I would actually throw down, Oblivion, because now that Helios has run out, boom, and now you have actually double Empower from the Helios rune too, and it is glitching out apparently. So you can see there's a lot of damage with very little damage done to myself, even though that was a ranged guy. Melee guys are going to be different because you're going to want to make some moves here. So what I would probably recommend in a melee scenario with something like this is first, you pop that, you throw down here, you're going to put on the essence there, you're going to void thing, geez, I can't remember these names. And then I'm going to fire through to kind of move away from the gap, throw a couple of heavies. And the great thing about Fire Staff is that when you throw heavies like that, boom, you can get all of your mana back. So he died pretty quickly. He is a very low health one compared to someone like this guy. So I'm going to go around the other side. I'm going to take him out to go through the rotations even more. But remember, it's very important to kind of keep an eye on your setup there. So when that Rune of Helios goes away, try and throw down Oblivion as quickly as you can. So I'm going to pop up here, hit him with that, hit him with Fireball, put down Oblivion. I'm going to put the Essence on him, and I'm going to root him there. And I'm going to hit him with a Fireball, or hit him with Pillar again. Keep kiting him, backing him away. Throw Fireball down. He's weirdly coming after me. So I'm going to pop him down here, and I'm going to swap back over, pop down here, put on that, hit him with Fireball, and heal. It is, I mean, of course, these are elites, soloing them. Of course, you're not going to burn through them that quickly, but I'm a level 60 in, like, okay gear. Like, yeah, sure, it's good. They're all purple gear. I have a lot of the right stuff on it, but I'm gear score 511, and I'm taking out level 63 elites. So it's not too crazy difficult, but you can see that there's quite a bit of damage and quite a bit of potential. And players that either practice a lot more than the short amount of time that I've had with Void Gauntlet will be able to come up with some really fun things. There's a good combination between the Void Gauntlet and Ice Gauntlet. So let's just, again, take a very quick look at it again. Light attacks deal 100% ice damage. Heavy attacks deal 140% ice damage. The Ice Gauntlet, though, has a little extra thing. So instead of doing 140 on the void damage there, it actually splits it a little bit where it heals you on a heavy attack. So you can do that from a range if you're running low on health and you want to back out and they're slowed. So with this build here for Ice Gauntlet, you're going to be doing a decent amount of damage from it, of course, if the enemy is in fact weak to ice. So here's kind of how you would play out the Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet. I would swap to Ice Gauntlet. I would throw down Ice Storm, immediately swap over to Void Gauntlet, throwing down Oblivion, dropping your tether, and using your Void Blade. Now, if everything scales there perfectly and you get the right amount of timing, you can do a lot of damage together. This is actually showing Void Gauntlet in one of the very few primary types of positions here. So let's go ahead and just do a quick test on a non-elite. I'm at the mines here in Shattered Mountain. We're going to do a quick test on a non-elite and kind of roll through the cycle here. So this guy is an archer already. I'm going to actually just throw that down to get him shot up there. Okay, so you see the Ice Gauntlet still does really well. Let's wait for that cooldown to go through. I think this guy actually fired an arrow at him. Here, let me just show you what the Void Gauntlet looks like without the area here. So if you notice, boom, and then I get healed when they die. And since they're dying inside the void area, if you remember from this here, where is it? Oh, nope. The tether, it'll give me that. That's what I was thinking of, is tether, not that other piece here. All right, so actually, let's go ahead and pull this elite that's up here. Should be relatively easy. So I'm going to throw down that, and I'm going to quickly switch here, tether him, get the lacing up, and you'll see how much I can actually survive and stay alive in this scenario here. So I tethered him again, and I dropped that down, and now you'll notice too, see, when every time you attack the guy with the tether, the cooldowns decrease. This Void Gauntlet here in general is one of the most versatile weapons that I've seen here. It's almost entirely viable with any of these other weapons as a main. The weapon is really good. It's like the first truly balanced weapon. There are definitely some weaknesses that have their gaps filled by other weapons. So now we're taking a look at Life Staff and the Void Gauntlet together. So if we take a look at the builds here, so Void Gauntlet, we're actually going to be going with, in fact, the Void Blade itself, because that's going to be your main damage for this build here. You're going to be more of a off damage, but healer as the main type of thing in your group here, as well as just general overall buff. You can see, again, we have Oblivion here, which is going to be great for that empowered buff. And also that extra damage and the weaken on the enemy. Oh, I'm getting attacked here by this guy. Go ahead and put that right there. And then we're going to Baleful Tether. We're going to that. We're going to do this. And boom, boom, boom. Heal myself. Heal myself. Heal myself. Heal myself. Now, after we were so rudely interrupted there by that gentleman with the bow, the Void Gauntlet build that I have here is we're utilizing the Baleful Tether all the way up there to get the extra healing and whatnot while tethered, and to get all the nice perks and bonuses. We're going to be doing Oblivion for the extra damage buff there, and we're going to be doing Void Blade as the main damage dealer. And what's nice about Void Blade is that it pairs very well with Void Caller, so you get that extra aura of healing. So what you saw was just a base of the rotation that I did before there with Life Staff. Basically, we're going to be doing the general Holy Trinity of Life Staff, Sacred Ground, Light's Embrace, and Beacon. Typically, what you're going to do in solo or even group scenarios is you're going to throw down Sacred Ground so that you can stand in it if you're solo, or that your party can stand into it. So you're going to throw down Sacred Ground in front of the enemy. You're going to throw Beacon on the enemy, and then you're going to go into Void Gauntlet, and you're going to pop on your Void Blade, quickly drop down Oblivion and Baleful Tether on the target, and hack away at them, both healing yourself with the heavy attacks and empowering your allies around said enemy. That's if you want to get up close and personal. If you want to stay back a bit, but still keep this type of stuff here, if you want to go like pure healing, you could probably drop off Void Blade and bring in Essence Rupture to kind of help on the times that Beacon is down on the target. Kind of flipping back and forth between them to have a good solid sustain in healing if you're going to mainly be focused on healing, especially towards the end game dungeons. If you're just kind of like earlier helping on younger people, or you're out in the open world, you can definitely go and do the build that I currently have set up here. So let's go ahead and check the rotation here again. So I'm just I'm gonna throw that down, and then I'm gonna swap over, pop that, heal myself, and you'll notice that I just am not dying. There's just no way to die here. I have all of this nice stuff. I'm actually going to use it on the elite up here, the one that has given me trouble before. Pay no attention to my armor. It mainly was just getting focus. I'm a mix of heavy and light right now, which you'd think would make it medium, but in fact, it actually makes it heavy. So let's go ahead. Hell, we can do it now. So we have the enemy here, right? We have Tether on him. We have this on him. I'm going to hack away. He's using whatever. But you'll see, there's a lot of really good sustain for self-healing, and you can see how that can translate over into group healing. As we bring the video to a close, we can see just how versatile Void Gauntlet is without being overpowered, and how it can pair well with just about every weapon. I plan on refining the builds better from a skill and attribute standpoint for various weapons and Void Gauntlet, but I've yet to see the special armor perks for Void Gauntlet to see what's actually available there. So I can't really recommend the exact gear types or perks to go for, just the overall armor type for that specific type of build. So stay tuned for that. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/lunarwolf, streaming at various times. I used to have a schedule, but I have a lot of life events happening right now, which skews my typical schedule. I apologize for that. If you would like to know when I'm live, go ahead and follow me on Twitch for direct notifications, or you can follow me over on Twitter if you like that platform and getting your news that way. Link in the description below. And you can also join my growing community on Discord for the extra details and to see other things that I'm up to. All of these links, of course, will be down in the description below. Please also don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.